Hi, this is Dave again with another in the series of class tutorials that I'm going to make here, these videos. You recall in the last video, in the first one I made, that we had this layout here. We had these kind of randomly oriented and placed pictures in a collage fashion here. But what if you wanted things to be a little more orderly? You know, if you're kind of more into, I don't know, more structured layouts than this. Well, there's a lot of ways to do that in ScrapPage, but one of the really convenient ways is to use a thing called grids. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here and I'm going to add a grid. And to get that grid, I'll just go down here and see where I have an option here to add a photo grid. So let's pick this one here, for instance, since we've got 3 pictures already here. Now I think I will give it some color and maybe even give it a little bit of a texture. Let's give it a texture like this here and see how that turns out. Alright, so when it gets done computing, you'll see, I got to give that, sorry, I didn't give that the right click. Let me see here what I got to do here. I'll give it this color and we'll give it the standard picture that we picked. And it should come up colored now. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so what I want to do is, first thing is I'm going to make it a little bit different in size here. I'd like it to kind of fit underneath what we got and underneath the title of our thing, but still to be on the picture. So let's make it something about like that. Alright, so maybe just a little wider over here. So there, now we've got it sort of bordering into the picture. And as you can see, the pictures that we have now don't fit at all. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to lock that in place just so it doesn't move around on me anymore. So now I can grab these pictures and do whatever I want to with them. So I'm going to move them down a little bit, get them out of the way for the time being. I think the first thing I'm going to do is, you notice we bordered all these, but I'm going to take the border off of them because I'm going to let this grid be acting as the border now. So we'll just take the border off of all of them and probably take the shadow off too while we're at it, because the grid has its own shadow. So let's take this shadow down to nothing, and we'll go here and match this one to that, and we'll go here and match that one to that. Okay, so now I've got rid of the borders and the as well as the shadows. I think also what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Kyle's name off of there, and you do that just by clearing the text, and it's gone. I'm going to leave the text on this one for a little bit. Now, what I want to do, though, is I want to blow this thing up so that it's going to kind of fit in here. Something about like this. Let's make sure that we got a rotation of 0. There we go. And I think to make it fit the way I want, I'm going to set it about like so. And I want still to have the title show here. So now I'm going to go in and crop it, and to crop it, I'm just going to make sure that I crop it inside of the lines of the grid. So we'll tell it OK. So there, now it's in there, and it's fine, and it's in place. So now I'm going to then go up here, and I'll take Sarah, and I'll blow her up. Let's also rotate her back to 0. And we'll set her up here so that she kind of fills her space, maybe just a little bit larger. Something about like that. You know, she'll fit in there now, okay. And again, we'll crop her so she fits behind there. So she's now going to be sitting behind the grid and sized appropriately. And let's take the rotation out of Kyle. And we'll move him down here and grow him up in size so he fits. We'll make sure that he's bigger. He's bigger than the border, but not big enough to overlap into the next picture. And just a little bit larger, and we'll set him about like that. And in order to clean him up, we'll go ahead and we're going to crop him out too. I just right click in order to get this crop rectangle up. And there, now he's cropped into there too. Okay, so now we've got our pictures where we want them. We've got the 2 kids, Sarah and Kyle. Now on here, what I could do additionally is, you know, remember I told you we do have a caption. And let's just say, add to this that we take this posed photo every year. How's that? Now, when I tell it to update the text, you're going to see that it doesn't fit. But that's okay, because I can reduce the size until it does. And there, now it fits in there. Or I could increase the banner size so that it would fit, or really increase the banner size if I wanted. And it would fit in there like that. Okay, so let's take it back down to, what banner size do we want to go to? Let's take it down to something like that again. And we'll leave it there. That looks pretty good. All right, so now you can see that in just a few clicks here, we turned what was kind of a random oriented picture into one that now has a nice structure to it with this grid. And I could have chosen other grids. There's a lot of grids that come with ScrapPage, and you just pick the one that you want. Some of them hold just a couple of pictures, some of them hold 6 or 7. So just like that, you can see how it's very simple to put these things into a nice orderly pattern, make a nice color arrangement that looks appropriate for the card that you're making. In this case, a holiday card, greens and reds for Christmas. Again, if I wanted, even at this point, I could change that background. There's nothing magic about that background. I can always go in and change that background again. Let's make it even a little more red if we wanted to. We'll tell it to go ahead and compute with it being redder, if that's a word, redder, more red. Okay, so there, I think that really probably is a little bit of overdoing it. But it might be okay if we used a different texture. So let's try that. We'll go ahead and try a different texture on here. Let's try one of the patches textures here and see how that looks. And it's, when it gets done computing here, it'll come up and it'll show us that now we have it lying on just a patchwork kind of a background. So as I say, there's just thousands and thousands of possibilities, or a limitless number of possibilities of what you could do in terms of coloring, in terms of the texturing, in terms of how you arrange your pictures, how you set them behind different objects like this grid here. So I'm going to wrap this tutorial up right here, and next time we'll go into some further details of what ScrapPage Pro can do. Until then, this is Dave. Bye-bye.